Pierre, you want to come out here?
NANI?
Who is it? It's me, Hero, sir. Oh, Gerald, please come in.
Mr. Hedgebloom, it means so much to me that you decided to have me part of your Super Bowl Black History Month commercial. I mean, really. I told my mom that when this day came, I knew I had made it through the door, and I finally got my foot through the door. I might seem a little bit nervous, but I want you to know I'm going to give you 110% of my effort, and I have a bunch of great ideas for you. And my name is Hero, by the way, not Gerald, but I understand how people can mix that up. I've been marking these for months, so if you have a specific type of scheme or action sequence you want to put, I have it in here.
Actually, we do have a scheme and a little bit of an idea.
Oh, you already have an idea?
Yes, I want you to check it out.
Oh, no, it's not a problem at all, not a problem at all. I'd love to see what you have to say, sir. You've been in the business for over 20 years, so I know you have nothing but expertise and the ability to do this job right.
That's how you move up in the world, kid. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Not a problem, sir.
So, honest opinion, you loved it.
Well, if I have to be honest, sir, I think this commercial might be taken as a little bit offensive. And I actually don't believe you made this mistake on purpose. I just feel like if you take a close look at some of the things that are going on in the commercial, you might also see some flaws in it as well. Let's start off with the basic. The name of the speech that is being referenced isn't being referenced in the commercial. No one knows what the speech was just when the speech was given. Martin Luther King gave hundreds of speeches, but I actually took time to look this up before I got here because it's also in my book. But the name of the speech was Drum the Major Instinct. It was a speech given by J. Wallace Hamilton. He was a white liberal in the 50s who stood for positivity and service of man first. Martin Luther King decided to use this sermon based on the context of the speech, which runs about 4 pages long, but basically in a nutshell, Martin Luther King was more interested in service of man over identification of self. What it basically means is, instead of you worrying about how you look, worry about how your legacy and people will perceive you. If they thought of you, they should think of you in love. If they thought of you, they should know that you were a person of love. If a person was ever in need, you would extend your hand in an effort to help that person. So I think that's the first issue we have here. The second, the parts of the speech that you decided to quote are self-fulfilling type quotes, basically talking about being great of self, being identified as self, being awesome as self. Third, I think you picked the wrong title for this. Drum the Major Instinct, while it's a great speech, DRUM was also an acronym for the 1970 Michigan Union, created by African Americans, which was the Dodge Revolutionary Union movement. It was drummed up, no pun intended, in 1970 to combat Polish leadership that constantly picked Polish leadership and management over African Americans, which kept them in the lower levels with zero to no opportunities to move forward. And it wasn't like this issue was resolved peacefully. These African American workers were laid off, fired, and forced out anytime they decided to rise up and cause issue. While they did get a lot of pushback, they did make a lot of grounds for their current unions to make better policy changes so that they wouldn't have to struggle as much as they were just to make ends meet. Especially when 70% of the Michigan factory in Detroit was African American. Meanwhile, 100% of management was white. The problem here is you guys are actually using this commercial to sell trucks. Whether you like it or not, the fact that you guys are using Black History Month in order to sell trucks is kind of tasteless. Let's take a beer commercial, for example. The Budweiser commercial about natural disasters and the things that go on during natural disasters is kind of distasteful. Although they're still selling beer, they never once show their alcohol in a glorified light. Instead, they opt out to show that when these natural disasters do occur, they send water in their cans, which is wonderful. They don't talk about selling beer, they don't mention it, but they do have a message and it's clear. We do sell products, but when it counts, they call us. What can Dodge say that they do for America during natural disasters? I don't know if they send out trucks or use their drivers to help move stuff, but if they do, it's never been publicized, and if they are, that would have been a perfect commercial to put. Like us taking down trailers full of Dodge cars, all stocked and ready to be sold, but instead of going out to the dealerships, we use those trucks and send them down to Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico. Without a shadow of a doubt, this commercial is directly working off the back of an African American in order to sell their own products. This is what we're talking about when we say quit using us to your advantage. Quit using our culture, quit using our skills, quit using our heroes, quit using us to make a buck. Well, if I'm just being picky, this once again is a Black History Month commercial. You didn't even show a picture of the person who gave the speech.
Oh my God. Girl doesn't know what Martin Luther King looks like.
Well, sir, I'm happy that you asked for my input. I hope you found it useful. Is there anything else I can do for you since we've had such a candid conversation about race relations, how it's so important to have input from African Americans when you're talking about African Americans, and what it means when you're actually able to go out and put yourself in a positive light in your community by using your money, your financial reach, and your social economic growth to make an outcome that is positive for our community. Is there anything else I can do for you since you're definitely not going to post this racist commercial?
You think it's racist?
No, I think it was wonderful. Push it.